The technology in the marine industry has always been advancing and advancing, and there's no reason why it shouldn't continue advancing currently. Now, we don't specifically target millennials, but they are our forthcoming market. At the moment, our core market clearly is people of my age or older. They're the people who seem to have the money and the boats and so on, and are interested in that area of activity. So it's slightly different to people producing apps and other kind of technology for general consumption. It's a bit specific. But at Cap'tain Chercheur, we've identified a problem in the marketplace. So a lot of people will own boats that were manufactured in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and they love their boats, and it's a passion for them. And they invest in their passion. But it's like having an old car. You can't always find the parts. So one of Cap'tain Chercheur's strengths is it uses technology through the apps that we've developed for professionals, primarily, to find the parts that they're looking for. So, for example, we have an app specifically developed for marine industry retailers. The app enables them to quickly search for parts through over 200 catalogues. At the moment, they'd be doing it in a traditional way, looking through paper catalogues, simply by tapping keywords or a reference number, or even just selecting a manufacturer. Within a few seconds, they can hone down to the catalogue, the page, the item that their client's looking for. Now, yes, it's a niche. It's not a high volume sector. It is specific. It's driven by passion. Our customers are passionate. They are, at the moment, they are upper middle class people. They have a disposable income. There are millennials joining this. They're the next generation coming through that is going to be interested in buying boats, in sailing, in powerboating, and in related sports. So we are using today's technology to develop solutions for the future generations that are coming through. So firstly, as I said before, we have a solution for professionals to enable them to find parts quickly and easy for their customer base, whether it's a retailer, whether it's a boat builder or a repair yard. It's specific. But the marine industry is complicated and a lot of parts become obsolete quickly, so that's quite vital to them. The next solution that we're producing is a solution that is tied in with the national industry governing body in France, that is focused on, shall we say, boating in an environmentally friendly way, something that we know appeals to millennials. But the solution now is to create a system that enables people to recycle their boats, to refurbish and reuse equipment, which sounds laborious and time-consuming. Oh, I don't want to be searching around an old boatyard looking for bits. So we produced a solution for both professionals and boat owners, for the professionals to promote and sell their end of stock, end of line, or recycled or refurbished boat parts, and for the public boat owners across Europe, not just in France, but across Europe, to access that, to find what they're looking for. And it all happens quite instantly, quite quickly and painlessly. At the moment, surprisingly, there's no solution like that. So if I'm running a boat built in the 1970s and I'm passionate, I want to restore it and keep it in good condition, I can waste hours or days looking for one small part. Opening it up, using the technology that's available to open things up, means it's much more accessible to all generations. And it's interesting when we see that as the older generation of boat owners move along, shuffle off this more core, the next generation comes through, and their demands are slightly different. The demands of a millennial who's coming into boating, they want things to be a little easier. They want instant access, perhaps instant gratification from their boating. So we're trying to create solutions that give them the answers immediately, that give them the results that they want in the time frame they want. We're looking at developing solutions, information, as Cap'tain Chercheur effectively wants to be the resource for finding and accessing boat equipment, for accessing knowledge about how to do things, how to create, how to repair, how to manage your boat. These are all things that the previous generation has spent years accumulating this knowledge. So let's use the technology that we have available today to share it, to make it accessible to everybody. So as I said at the beginning, Our product isn't specifically targeting millennials. It's targeting people who have a passion for boating. Not specifically millennials, but millennials are boaters. Millennials enjoy water sports, and that's the next generation coming through. That's Cap'tain Chercheur. Any questions?
C'est trop bon, allez-y. On enchaîne avec passe-prêt.
It's a bit unique. I understand if you're not in the industry, it's or you're not a boater, it's difficult to understand the passion that people have. A lot of people get into boating at a very early age. You kind of have no choice as a child. Your parents drag you along, kicking and screaming, but it gets into your blood. And ironically, you see a lot of people who join boating later on. They go, oh, I want to try something different. They perhaps take a 1 week sailing course and they become hooked. And when you see a growth in other marine sectors, you see a growth in, you probably will see the growth in kiteboarding. A lot of people who kiteboard will start kiteboarding and they go, oh, let's try something else. I like being on the water, I like being around the elements, let's try something else. So let's move on maybe to sailing, let's try sailing. It requires a bit of skill, a bit of concentration, and if you're working in a high-tech environment or high-pressure environment, you can't beat getting out on the water, get away from it all. Yes, there's still take around you, but it's a change of scenery. Yes. Sailing, obviously, is more... I mean, it's an interesting thing. Majority of boats are made plastic, not the best resource. So our boatyards building eco-friendly boats using eco-materials. But on the baseline, the most environmentally friendly boating you can have is a wooden boat, sailing boat with no engine. That's the most environmental way you can go. It is a problem, and that's the problem that we're kind of working with our Poseidon solution, is that there's a lot of fiberglass boats sitting around in rivers and estuaries, rotting away. And they have to be disposed of sensitively. There's also a lot of material. They've got batteries on them, engines, they may have old fuel, oil, a lot of metal, copper, all sorts of bits of equipment on those boats. And the partnership we have with an organisation called Le Pair, which is basically driving this recycling process, is to help the boat owner, because there's costs involved in recycling, but you've got to transport it to the recycling centre and so on. So our solution enables the boat owner to realise some financial return from recycling their boat. So mostly it will cover the cost of transportation, maybe a little bit extra, but it means the boat isn't sitting in an estuary, in our beautiful waters, polluting the environment. So we get it out of the water, we reuse what's possible. The rest of the material, the fibers, will get recycled and used for insulation and other products like that. So it's moving in that direction. So we're getting there. Any other comments, questions?
Good.
Thank you very much.